Okay, so let's go ahead and get back into our coverage over Generation X. Now, we're going to cover issue number 22 and issue number 23. Now, with these two issues, they're not really anything special. It's not like, oh my God, it's our heroes fighting for their lives and will they survive or will they die? None of that. And guys, please don't leave the video just yet. But when it comes to Generation X, these two issues, it's holiday specials. The first one being Halloween and the other one being Thanksgiving. But really it's more of how will our heroes celebrate these two holidays together? And so it's kind of cool to see these two issues come out, but not be so over dramatic and our heroes hanging on for their dear lives. It's kind of cool to see, a very quiet story for once. For example, when we dive into issue number 22, it's really more of us seeing the young kids, Franklin, Artie, and also Leech, just being able to go out and celebrate Halloween with the rest of the town people. Now, for Artie and Leech, as you can tell, their mutation had to change their forms of their body. So one got pink skin, one got green skin. But here's the thing. It's Halloween, so they could technically fit right in. That for the most part, people are not going to realize that they're mutants. And so for Husk, she's kind of concerned with the three kids being out there on their own. But for Banshee's kind of no, let them be. Let them have fun. And at first, she doesn't realize why Banshee is trying to do this for. Why is he allowing these kids to have so much fun without them being, held back? While you have Banshee and Husk with the young mutants, for the rest of Generation X, they're back at the school. And matter of fact, you do have some regular humans try to play a prank on the school, but you do have our young mutants being able to use their powers to play a prank on those people before they're able to pull off their prank on, our young mutants. Now, while you do have the young ones doing that, you have Emma Frost watching them. Now, for this issue, there's a storyline that does take place in this issue with Emma Frost and another character known as Nightmare. Now, before we actually dive into the whole Emma Frost and Nightmare storyline, I do kind of want to sit down and talk about, Chamber and Skin, because those two characters finally came back home after being gone for a good while. Because before the Onslaught crossover, you had those two characters leave the school to meet up with Charles Xavier. And the reason why, because when it came to Chamber's powers, they were being affected by Onslaught. Now, at the end of the crossover, everything went back to normal for him, but they went over to LA to allow Skin the ability to, see his family. But now we're technically able to switch over to, Nightmare and Emma Frost. Now, for Nightmare, he is a Fear Lord. And I'm not really going to sit down and try to explain the whole idea of Fear Lords, but just know that for Nightmare, he's from the Nightmare world, his own world, technically. Now, he's also part of the Dream Dimension. Now, when it comes to Nightmare, he rules over his own world. Now, the reason why he supposedly came to Emma Frost, because apparently he needs her help. Now, Nightmare did appear in our last video for a brief moment when it came to playing with Emma Frost salad. But either way, it's him now coming to her saying I need your help. And you're the only person who can truly help me. You see, for Nightmare, he does tell Emma Frost that apparently there's somebody trying to take over his world, this powerful psychic entity. Now, we're not really told who it is. All we're told is some lady who's trying to take over his world, and the only person who can truly help him is, Emma Frost. Now, for Emma, she does not say yes at all, really. At first, she's kind of listen, I am a very busy person. I'm right now trying to run a school that's full of students who all have their own problems that I, myself, and Banshee have to deal with as well. And technically, she is right, but he does continue to beg for her help. And she tells him, I'll let you know, and turns off the lights. Now, we do kind of get a page here that reminds us that this does take place right after the whole idea of Onslaught. So, you had the Avengers and Fantastic Four be removed from the main Marvel universe and put into the Heroes Reborn reality. And so, because of that, to this universe, the main Marvel universe, they believe right now the Avengers and the Fantastic Four are, well, basically dead. And so when it comes to Nathaniel Richards, the father to Reed Richards, what he did was he grabbed Franklin and brought Franklin over to Banshee to say, hey, listen, I need you to teach my young boy here, my young grandson, how to control his powers. Because around this time in Marvel Comics, Franklin was still known as a, well, mutant. Now, with all that being said, for Franklin, he's currently missing his mom and dad. And so for Banshee and the rest of the school, they're trying their best to help out this young boy. Now, for Nightmare Emma Frost, this does kind of lead into the ending of this Halloween special, because for Emma Frost, she kind of realized what's going on here with Nightmare, that he's technically lying, but at the same time, he is somewhat being truthful. The whole idea that there is someone out there who's very dangerous, who does have the possibility of taking over his world. But is Emma Frost trying to clarify to Nightmare that, hey, listen, this person that you're currently talking about, they can't use me as a way to get into your realm. And the reason why, because my powers don't work that way. Yes, I am a psychic, but I can't take things in the physical world and bring them over to your world. And so once he kind of realized that Emma cannot be a threat to his world, he technically leaves. But at the same time, there is still that possibility of danger to come. But to close on this video, you do have Nightmare kind of give these images over to Emma Frost. Now, at first, she kind of believes that it was him giving her a nightmare. But it's him saying, no, I didn't give you a nightmare. I basically showed you what's to come down the road for you and your fellow students. So like Bastion, Implate, and other big things to come down the road. And so it's him saying like, hey, you can't relax just yet. Make sure you stay on your A game and watch over you, but also the rest of the people around you as well. So now it's time for us to transition over to issue number 23. Now, issue number 23 is really more of a Thanksgiving special, right? And so we do pick up with Banshee at first. And for Banshee, he's kind of wondering like, what should he do when it comes to his daughter, well, Siren? Because as we all know, for Banshee, he had no idea that technically he had a daughter. When he found out, she was practically grown. And so for him, he kind of hates the idea that he was not around for her, but now he is. So he's kind of wondering like, do I call her over for Thanksgiving? But if I do, she'll then see all of these other kids that I'm technically help raising at the moment, and how that make her feel. Now, this storyline is also kind of picking up where our last video left off at, where you have B say like, hey, I believe that Monet may be autistic. Now, the reason why B said that, because when it came to Monet, she would have these moments where she would just completely shut down, right? She would not talk, she would not move, just not do anything at all. She would also have other moments where she would completely ignore the world around her. She'll be doing some kind of design or some kind of task that she has set for herself to do, but she won't realize there's other people around her or the possibility of them talking to her. And so when it came to Beast, he said, yeah, I believe she may be autistic. And so in this issue, it's time for her to kind of get some tests to see if what Beast said is possibly true. Now we do transition over to Paige Guthrie and also Chamber. Now, for Chamber, as we all know, when he gained his mutant ability, unfortunately, it did kind of blow off the bottom part of his face, but also like a hole in his chest as well. And you have all this psionic energy just there where his body parts used to be at. Now, when it came to Paige and Chamber, you had the two get very close to the point where you had Paige try to kiss Chamber, but unfortunately he blew up part of the school in an earlier storyline. Now for Paige, what she did was she brought Chamber with her to spend time with her and her family for a Thanksgiving. Here's the thing. Chamber hates his life because for him, he believes because the way he looks and because of his powers, he will never be able to have a normal life. Now for Paige, she is a very positive person. And she's all like, listen, everything happens for a reason. everything we do is for a purpose in this world. That she believes no matter what, that people have the ability to achieve what they want to achieve. Meaning that for Chamber, he can still have a normal life. Now, it's also her trying to get close with the guy as well to, be a couple. But for him, he's kind of like, listen, we tried to kiss last time and I blew up part of the school. So that's not going to happen. But also, I'm telling you again, I don't think I can have a normal life. But we do transition over to Husk and also Chamber as they do arrive at her family home. Now, her family's not home right now. They're currently at church at the moment, but they did leave a note behind saying like, hey, we're over here, be back soon, and blah, blah, blah. Now, for Chamber, him being Mr. Depressed guy, he's kind of like, oh, they're not here because they didn't want to see me, the freak. Now, for Husk, her being a mutant, and also her brother Sam, who's Cannonball in the X-Men, also being a mutant, she's kind of like, no, my family fully understands what it's like to be a mutant, but also kind of like, we don't judge people. But for Chamber, it's like, well, here's the thing though. You're a different type of mutant. And what he means by that is you have some mutants out there who do gain their abilities, but they are able to continue on with their normal lives, like Husk or like Jean Grey or even Wolverine. But you have some out there where it's like they can't just be out there in the public. Nightcrawler, Beast, and the list goes on. And so for him, it's kind of like your family can't judge you because you still look normal. But for me, it won't be the case. Now, for Husk, of course, she does get very upset about the idea that he believes that her family is like that. Now, of course, this is also us building our way up to Operation Zero Tolerance because we do pick up with Bastion. Now, for Bastion, he had found out that there is this company out there that's owned by Emma Frost. And he's kind of like, okay, I want the whole backstory for this character. Like, how in the world did she become this powerful to have her own company? The problem is that there's not much information out there about Emma Frost. It's kind of like she just appeared out of nowhere. And so, of course, for Bastion, it kind of says like, oh, she's a mutant. And now she had got my attention. Now we do switch over to Howard the Duck and his girlfriend Beverly. Now when it comes to Howard the Duck, he was in our last video hanging out with Chamber and also Skin, and they were out in LA. Now he's currently at the school as well, but he has been avoiding the three boys, Franklin, Leech, and also Artie. Now, you do have Beverly, his girlfriend, take him over there to see the three boys, except when they do arrive, we come to find out the three boys have been hiding somebody better known as Tana Nile. Now, when it comes to Tana Nile, and I really hope I pronounced that correctly, she first appeared back in Thor issue number 129. Now, here's the thing, because when it came to her people, they would go around trying to colonize different planets across the universe. Her assignment was the Earth, but she was called back to her planet because when it came to Thor, he had saved her home world from the Black Galaxy. And so because of that, Earth was kind of saved by her people. Now, once she did arrive back home, she began to realize that it's very bad for them to go around and take over all these different planets. Now, the rest of that storyline, it will get picked up later on in a later video. But for right now, she, for some reason, left her home world to crash on Earth and trying to, recover. But this kind of leads into the ending of this storyline, and let me just say, I kind of like the ending of the storyline because it's really more of, Husk explaining things to Chamber full on. Here's the reason why I'm saying this, because for Chamber, he doesn't realize that, yes, Husk does like him, but she also understands they can't have a normal life, and technically, she does not want a normal life. What she wants is to just be with him. And so it has to take her to yell at him to realize oh, that's it? All you want is technically just to be with me no matter what? That's pretty wild. And so once he does realize that, he kind of realized that maybe he should begin the process of turning things around between them. So I kind of go ahead and get into the ending of this issue where it's really more of us kind of learning why Monet does not want to be tested for her autism. And the reason why, because when her powers first had manifested, her father took her to all these different types of doctors. So because of that, she's basically scared of doctors. Now for Banshee, he does back off. But for Emma Frost, she believes that he just got played. And the reason why, because when it came to Monet, she never truly told them like her whole family backstory, because they found out in an earlier storyline that one of their enemies, Implate, is actually, well, her brother. And so they're kind of wondering like, what other things has she not told Emma Frost nor Banshee? Now, this is also the book telling us that sooner or later a big threat will come that could possibly affect the entire team down the road. But this is where we're going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see you all next time. Later.